I'm Donald Jones, professor of law at the University of Miami, and I teach constitutional law. I'm a critical race theorist. Critical race theory is a discourse of people of color in the legal academy. What we do is we produce knowledge, not merely regurgitate it, but we produce knowledge, in which we tell stories directed at getting people to re-examine their assumptions about what race is, re-examine their assumptions about what discrimination is. In so doing, try to transform our moral culture that addresses issues of race. Well, I think that we're witnessing in the social media and in the media some incredible stories about the interaction of individual perception and race. You have a woman at Yale who goes to sleep in a common area of a dorm, and someone calls the police because she's doing something as innocent and innocuous as sleeping in a dorm. We have a black man who's a police officer who's searching in an alley for evidence of a crime, and someone calls the police to say there's a black man dressed up as a policeman who's masquerading, who obviously couldn't really be a policeman. We have two men at Starbucks doing what probably everyone who's ever been to Starbucks has done, which is to sit and mooch Wi-Fi, or just sit in the atmosphere. And they were told to leave, and when they didn't, they were arrested. Now, what these incidents call to mind is the fact that we as a society have not addressed. We've not become a colorblind society. We've not transcended race. And to the extent that we haven't, it means that we have to look again at what the laws are, look again at our assumptions about race, look again at what we as a democracy need to do to make sure that these kinds of incidents and these kinds of microaggressions don't take place. So these issues are simply metaphors for the pervasiveness and the depth of a problem that we haven't solved. Our country is based on the idea of equal justice under law. That is what defines us as a country. How do we achieve that? These incidents suggest that we still have a long way to go. Well, my most important course I teach is called Constitutional Law. And constitutional law is a course that everyone teaches differently. But we live in the greatest democracy in the world. And part of the magic of living in that democracy is we translate social issues into issues of constitutional law, particularly in the context of individual rights. So what I do in the Con Law course, I look at the plight of people of color, of women, of people who are gay, and try to understand what are the moral claims that they have, that the government, that the state has a right to concede to them. Historically, the way we looked at law was that individuals did not have moral claims against the state, that the state was supreme, that tradition meant everything. But what we're doing in our democracy today is we're asking questions like not merely of gay marriage or of affirmative action, but just to what extent are our social identities matters that can be the source of exclusion or inclusion. And these are the issues that define us as a country, and these are the issues that I address in depth in my class. I'm proud of the fact that I've written now 3 books, which together I think represent a body of knowledge about the significance of race in the 21st century. My first book was Race, Sex, and Suspicion, The Myth of the Black Male, published that in 2005 with Prager. The second book was Fear of a Hip-Hop Planet, America's New Dilemma, published that in 2013. And my most recent book is Dangerous Spaces, Beyond the Racial Profile, which I published in 2016. Each of these books raises the question of what is the meaning of race in the 21st century. And I think that my trademark is that I rethink things. I don't simply give you something you've heard before. It's all original. And if you read it, you'll have a deeper understanding of what our issues are and be better able to communicate, and not only to that, but to be an agent for social change.